In my coaching business and as a therapist, I often run across these people who are very responsible. They are take charge kind of people. They put stuff together, they take care of everything, they get it done. They are responsible. But the reason that they're in a session with me is that this can cause problems in their life. Why? Because they're being responsible for things that they should not be responsible for. So I'm going to talk about these today, and I'm going to tell you what they look like. This is some behavior that's very destructive, causes people to get stuck and very unhappy. So the first one is stop taking responsibility for making other people happy. It is not your responsibility to make someone else happy. You jump through hoops, you turn yourself inside out, you people please, all of these behaviors so that somebody else will be happy, and it will end up making you very unhappy, because you see, it's not your responsibility to make them happy. Flip side of that, it's not their responsibility to make you happy. True happiness comes from within, and you have to provide that for yourself, and so do they. Often that people-pleasing backfires because they don't react the way we want them to. We have adjusted our behavior thinking they're going to be happy, and they never are. If they expect their happiness to come from you, they will suck the life out of you. The second thing that you're not responsible for is you're not responsible to rescue or fix other people. So this is called enabling. Enabling is taking responsibility for things that other people should take responsibility for. Their choices, their behavior, their feelings, and their thoughts. You're not responsible for that. Dinah's responsibility is to protect the backyard. So you are not responsible to swoop in and save the day. Whatever you become responsible for that someone else is responsible for, you are making their failure permanent. You enable them to the point to where you disable them. And then if you're trying to fix somebody by giving well-meaning advice or telling people what they need to do, and then that backfires because then they blame you. They blame you for their choices because you're giving them advice. Unsolicited advice is an act of hostility. What you're doing is you're taking away their dignity. And often, if you're an enabler, you are suffering the consequences for somebody else's choices. Maybe they spent all their money on booze, and now they can't pay their bills. And so you step in and you pay their bills for them. And then you don't have money to pay your bills. That's a classic enabling thing where you suffer the consequences. And it causes a lot of problems. They blame you, and then they cut you off, like your kids. They cut you off because they're tired of hearing you tell them what they need to do because you're trying to fix them. And that's just kind of a nice word tagged on to what you're doing to them. You take away their dignity. You are telling them you don't think they can handle it. You are telling them that they can't figure it out. I can remember when I stopped doing this for my kids, I stopped giving them advice and telling them what they could do. And I would listen, and I would validate, and I would say, "You're very resourceful. I'm sure you can figure this out." Both of my boys know today that if they want my input, they have to ask for it, because I'm not going to give it. It's not my responsibility. Maybe when they were little, but not as a grown person. It has changed my relationship with them. It's about connection, not correction for my adult children. Another thing you need to stop being responsible for is making other people understand your choices, your feelings, and your thoughts. You don't have to explain or defend yourself to anybody. What we defend against, we make real. And so often, this keeps you from setting boundaries. And when you do set a boundary, you go into this long litany of why. And you don't have to defend or explain your choice. If you're right, you don't need any defense. And if you're wrong, there is no defense. So you just take responsibility for yourself. And then the last one is, stop being responsible to prove your worth to other people. This shows up as comparison, overachieving, seeking others' approval. And you don't have to prove your worth. You already have worth. As a human being and a child of God, you have worth. You just have to claim it. And so these are some things to stop being responsible for. When you're responsible for these things, you feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You cannot control the universe. You cannot control other people. But you can control yourself. So I want you to think about turning each of these around and applying them to yourself. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible to rescue yourself and to fix yourself. You are responsible to understand your choices, your feelings, and your thoughts, and the behavior you have. That's your responsibility. And lastly, you are responsible to yourself to know your worth. If you're interested in what I do, I work one-on-one coaching. There's a link in the description of how to contact me. I have a website. You can go over there and fish around and check things out. I have a free self-esteem analysis that you can get if you go to my website. If you like what I share here, please hit subscribe and like this video. Maybe share it with that friend of yours that you recognize this behavior in. And always remember to be you on purpose.